Yeah, he played the main dude.
Sin City was 3 films in one, wasn't it?
It was a whole...
It's supposed to be a new one coming from us.
There is indeed.
Sin City 2 was alright as well. I enjoyed that.
Was that the one with, what's his face, Mickey Rourke, as a main character in that?
What was the second one?
Is it Mickey Rourke? No, big... The one with the strippers.
That was the first one, wasn't it?
Was that the first one?
Yeah,
they were all set in the same thing.
Yeah, Jessica Alba was in the first one, wasn't she?
Yeah.
She was indeed. She was in the second one as well.
I liked...
Nothing else since.
Yeah. Fantastic Four.
She was in... there was a TV show, spin-off of Bad Boys. She wasn't bad in that, to be honest. It wasn't a bad series, it only listed one or two series.
LA Finest? Was that LA Finest? Yeah, that was alright.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I've just started watching this very night Lincoln Lawyer. And only because...
It's fantastic.
Well, only because
fantastic.
The author of the book was on Radio 5 Live today promoting his new book. And so I thought, oh, I'll start watching that. And yeah, the first episode, yeah, you're right. I'm hooked.
Yeah, I binged that. Absolutely binged it.
Yeah. It's on pause, I might say.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've seen the second Sin City. Yeah, it was Mickey Rourke, Jessica Alba, Josh Brolin, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Rosario Dawson.
Why is the main screen black for me? Is it black for anybody else?
Tab at the top. It's the diorama, that one.
Landing page.
Yeah, mine just said game pause with things. Black page, but game pause.
Yeah, it's a diorama. You should be on diorama, not landing page. Hold on, let me act. It's probably just been very slow.
I do not. You do not own any token on this page.
That's why it's dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the same on this scene. It says.
Scene, sorry. Yeah, I got half and it disappeared.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's lots of pictures.
Whoa, it's pretty.
I forgot about those.
All right, are we ready, gentlemen?
Do you know what? With 20 seconds to go, we can go live.
Best thing Jessica Alba's been in.
Oh, go
on. Probably the
Dark
original.
Angel.
Yep, the original thing she was in, Dark Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
That's where I saw her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was Max.
And Jensen Ackles was in the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's huge now for Supernatural more than anything.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Also in Boys 3 as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Have you seen all of those yet?
Yes. Brilliant.
They've left it so that he could come back. I hope he does.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But then again, they left Supernatural open, really. Even though they died, they said that.
When does that ever stop them?
Exactly how many times have they each
I was going to say they've died that many times. Anyway, Supernatural, it's like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And you're back.
Well, we got rid of God this time, then.
Right, sorry, Zed. Yes, we're live. You can go for it, sir.
I don't want to go for it.
Let's just talk crap all night. It's
right.
Just a quick question before you go forward. Are we postponing this until the 1st September as well?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, so recap last week. I had to, not last week, the week before, I had to watch the last 45 minutes of last episode because I didn't have a clue where we were. So you've made your way in relative comfort from Massau, I think, down to Mirza Fatma, where you have found yourselves a guide in the name of a gentleman by the name of Jonas, an Italian guide He speaks a little. He speaks English. He speaks local language, but he also speaks Italian. You have also found yourselves a hotel. We use that in air quotes. According to Joseph, it's a flea pit. According to the rest of you, it kind of depends. Alfred, it's better than the trenches, but only marginally. In that you've got a roof over your head. I was going to say it's warmer, but it's going to be warmer anyway. You learned a few things last week as well. You learned that to get from Mersa Fatma to Dalol, you have a couple of choices. One is overland on the back of camels, going straight across the desert. And that is pretty hot desert as well. It's a place that Jonas would recommend you don't do unless you have no choice. The second option is the old CMC railway, which still exists. There are a couple of CMC buildings in Mersa Fatma. But the rail hasn't run for several years, though Jonas believes that there would still be engines and carriages and things that would allow it to run down to Iron Point. He also suggests that stopping off at Cthulhu would be a good idea, because there you can pick up a local guide that knows the paths and the routes up into Dalol, the volcanic crater. You also discovered that there was a volcanic eruption that wiped out an archaeological dig in 1926 that was taking place in the vicinity of the Dalol crater. But that, you believe, is the dig that you have to go to. And I think we left it last week with you just kind of sitting back and having to think about what it is you want to do and how you want to do it.
Yeah, sitting in shock that there'd been a volcano. We never even thought that. We thought it was going to be an active dig.
What's the current date, bud?
November 26th,
26, was it?
1934. It's about 1:15 in the afternoon. Ooh. Oh dear. I had to start work at 7:30 this morning. And then Mehdi will be like, haha. Oh, the joys of starting work at 7:30.
Oh, yes. I remember those days.
I thought I'd just throw up some pictures. You pulled up some pictures last week of the Dalol area, so I thought I'd just create that little diorama so you could see just what it looks like when you get there. Obviously, you're not there yet, but that is the region that you're going to. All right. The sun is beating. It's bloody hot. You're sat in the shade, contemplating next moves. What do you wish to do?
The place where we might get the guide, does the train go via that way, or
It goes nearer. It's a mile or so. It's a mile or so away from the train line. It's a mile or so away from the train.
Anyone know how to actually drive a train?
I'm hoping that there would be someone there who would.
Oh, it's not been used in years. Not necessarily.
It hasn't.
Oh yeah, look. Somebody's nicked some of the rail tracks for the metal. No way of telling whether or not the line is still safe to use. How long would it take via the two different ways?
So it's about 50 miles. The camel route would be slower.
Yeah.
Probably take you a couple of days. But the downside to that, of course, is you are traveling across the desert and you are traveling, not in cover. The train is probably a little bit quicker. It's probably, and it kind of goes to exactly what you said. How good a repair and a state of use is the rail line? But if you assume that the rail line was fine, then you could easily do the journey in a day.
It's whether it's mothballed or just left to its own devices.
Yeah. And with it being such a poor place anyway, whether they'd have pulled up some of the tracks to make things out of the iron off them.
Exactly.
It's taking a chance either way, really.
Well,
I suppose you go to wherever we're going to find out at the start of it, and we'd find out whether it's in a state of disrepair.
yeah. There's no harm in looking.
No.
I was going to say that would probably be CMC, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody at one of the company buildings might have records as to whether or not it's usable. And we'll probably have to ask their permission anyway.
Just ask the locals.
Just to let you know, I need to pop out for 15 minutes, so we'll probably take an early break when that happens.
No problem.
I want to take the train because I want to get attacked by cultists crawling along the top of the roof.
Well, I want to see if he turns it into Horror on the Orient Express or something.
Yeah.
All 53 miles of it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
speeded
you know
up
he will.
version.
Horror on the Dalol Express.
Yes.
I do prefer the idea of the train, but there's more things can go wrong, I think. As in, we get halfway there and there's no train track. We're kind of snookered at that point.
Well, we'll just turn around and come back and get camels.
Put it in reverse, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not supposed to turn
You're
around on a train.
only losing half a day, aren't you?
And if we,
Yeah.
to be fair, if we don't rush and go fast, we can watch the track as it's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that definitely train first.
So do we speak to CMC? Because they're the owners of the train. We're going to have to ask their permission, really, or it's theft. Who's the bureaucrat?
So yeah, let's go take a walk over to the building.
Okay. The building is kind of it's more of a complex, I guess. There's a couple of warehouses and a couple of sort of low-level a couple of low-level kind of what you imagine would be modern day would be kind of executive offices / administrative buildings. There is a gate. The gate is open, kind of slightly rusted, sandblasted as well. Sort of hangs at a bit of a jaunty angle. You kind of head sort of into the gates. It's very quiet in here. There's nobody visible about.
What time of day is it?
1:30.
Yeah, they're not taking a siesta type thing out of the heat of the day or something.
Perhaps. I mean, it is very hot at the moment. You're talking probably mid-40s.
I struggle with my 20s.
You're all there. You're absolutely pale white Americans. Well, apart from Alfred, who's not a pale white American, but dabbing foreheads and stuff. From one of the warehouses, sort of a native African face kind of pops around the corner, and he calls out to you in Italian.
I'm going to shake my head when I hear a voice Italian.
You don't speak Italian? Of course you don't.
No.
Of course you don't. Did you
French
invite?
and Spanish.
Did you invite
Jonas.
Jonas with you?
Well, I would assume he would be with us.
Should have done, really, yeah.
Yeah, he probably would have done because you speak the local language. He looks at you. The man is inquiring what you want.
We wish to know about the train, or the state of the train.
Yeah, he translates it, and the man kind of gesticulates his arms and kind of goes like that a little bit and responds. And Jonas says, "Man say train not running. Train not run for years. Go away."
Yeah, I thought that's what he was saying. Oh, we still want to use it.
May we look at the train and see if it is running, or is there somebody we can speak to who could possibly offer us more insight?
The man points to one of the lower buildings, and Jonas says, apparently, Director General de Operazioni in Africa Central, that way, Mr. Segni.
Off for Toodle.
Okay.
While dabbing my brow with my handkerchief.
As you get to the building, you can hear the sounds of laughter, children's laughter. And kind of going to the door and opening it and going to walk in, you see as two young boys kind of run past you laughing, followed by another one with kind of like a blankie in his hand, chasing after him, toddling.
Oh.
And then a woman kind of head appears and she kind of says something in Italian. Jonas looks at you. She's asking why we have entered her home without knocking.
I'll bow swiftly and keep it low for a while, and then raise up slowly.
Okay.
And I want to put my hands out in a universal gesture of sorry. And say, Jonas, just tell the good lady that sorry, we did not realise this was her home.
She nods and then listens to Jonas for a second, and Jonas says she will take us to her husband.
Thank you.
With that, two more girls come running the other way and almost like trip over you as you start following her. She says something in what you imagine must be the native language, and both of the girls kind of stop, look at you a little bit sheepishly, and then kind of go off in a different direction. And you're taken through a couple of rooms which are, immaculate's not the word, but they're well presented. They're certainly clean and they're homely, with typical African furniture and things like that. It's a blend of African furniture and Italian furniture in here. And it seems, as you kind of walk through one room, there are two other women kind of sat there, one with a very young baby, another one with another toddler on her knee, and there's 4 or 5 more children kind of playing around. And you're taken through to a back room to just kind of like a closed door where the lady knocks. There's something calls out, probably local language. There's a response, and then the door opens. And you're greeted by think I've got a picture of this individual. Let me have a look. I do not have a picture of him. Nope, don't have a picture of him. You're greeted by a let's have a look. I think he's Italian. So he would be
Mussolini.
pretty. Hold on, let's have a look. Yeah. So he's quite a dark-skinned Italian. That kind of leathery skin to suggest he's been here a while and has kind of spent a lot of time in the sun. He sits behind a rather large desk. Seems a bit out of place, but still he's kind of behind this desk. He has a fan in his hand and he's fanning away, and an ashtray on the desk. A cigarette lazily emits its smoke in kind of a lazy trail, and he kind of looks up at you and says something in Italian, to which Jonas responds. And then the man kind of switches to slow but passable English. Ah, my American friends, how can we help you? You lost? No?
No, sorry, sir. We don't like to intrude in your house, and we did not realise this was your house. But we're looking at using one of your trains.
My trains are away. They are tidy away in warehouse. Not been run for many years.
Ah, and there's no possible way we can get one running for our purposes. We just wish to venture and explore a certain area, and we can make it worth your while.
What is it you wish to do?
We're looking at travelling to
Iron Point,
Iron Point.
or as close as we can.
We not run Iron Point for 5 years, not since. Well, yes, 5 years. Not since the afar became a problem.
But is the track still there?
We did not remove it, and the volcano didn't damage it, so I would say yes, unless the afar themselves have pulled it up. Though the sands of the desert do shift, he says, matter-of-factly. Why you wish to go to Iron Point? Nothing there, only the afar and the volcano.
That is which we wish to see, the volcano, because it's such a beautiful place right there, I've been told.
It is indeed a interesting place. Very hot. Too hot for Western people like you, not acclimatized. You don't need to go there. I think you should stay, enjoy here.
But we need to go there and take photographs of these wonderful the things we've heard about the place, just to see what's there for our employer.
And if I grant you this, what do you do for me? What do you do for Segni?
What would you wish us to do for Segni?
And he kind of smiles for a second, and then he kind of reaches down and takes a puff of his cigarette, places it back down. Ah, my friends, it is not for me to suggest. It would be unbecoming. Rather, what is it you would do for Segni?
Well, I'm sure your lovely
Oh,
wife.
just cut the bullshit and just ask for a price.
I'm doing that. I'm sure your lovely wife would appreciate a bit more shopping money to buy what she would like.
He snorts and gives out a little, a kind of an almost belly laugh. Money, no problem. We not want money. Secondly, doesn't need money. My wives have everything they need, and more.
Do you have any problems that need fixing that we could potentially help with?
He has no enemies as such. Segni is a respected man, though the church don't seem to pay Segni the respect that he expects for a man in his position here.
Is he a god?
Segni is no god. Segni is a well-liked man.
Well, why would the church pay you respect? They pay their respects to God.
They
Don't big yourself up.
They don't like.
Oh, hang on. How many wives do you have?
3 wives, my friend. 3 wives. 3 wives, 9 children.
Yes, that is probably why the church doesn't welcome you as much as you wish they would.
They have a funny notion. They say that marriage should be between one man and one woman. It's no harm. We enjoy our life. I treat my wives equally. They all have this shopping money. And he belly laughs again.
I agree with your way of thinking because, what is one man but not to help and support many women?
You're a man after my own heart.
No. He just uses women, doesn't support many women. There's a difference.
As I poke him. I mean, I could have a word with the vicar or the reverend, whoever's here. I can't guarantee anything, but I will try my best for you, my friend.
I'm keeping quiet in the back. I don't want to mess up whatever deal you managed to get out of it.
So, those of you with assess honesty.
Yeah.
I think that's the closest. The man, I mean, he doesn't think of himself as a god, and he doesn't necessarily think of himself as superior to anybody. But he.
Oh no! My point was he wants the church to pay respect to him, but the church only pays respect to God.
Right.
They need nothing from man, so why would they pay respect for him? He's not deserving of any.
I think the church wants him. He wants the church to be more accepting of him. I think is where we're going.
You get a sense that.
Why would they? He's a heathen.
He views himself as a very.
He's a fucking heathen.
He might not be. He might be a Catholic.
He's got 3 wives. He's not a Catholic.
Yeah.
He's a Mormon.
Exactly. He's a heathen.
You get the sense that the man believes that he holds a certain status, a certain dominance, and he revels in people kind of paying homage to his position,
Oh, he likes people to fawn over him.
basically. And the church are clearly not doing that, and there are members of the church that are not doing that. But also, he's kind of looking to you to also fawn over him a little bit.
Oh, shit.
That's not likely to happen.
Yeah, I'm not really a fawner over men.
From New York, go fuck himself.
I could probably buy this village. Look,
I'm tempted to
Signe.
lock the door and set fire to his bloody house while he's in it.
Yeah.
Well, that's me from another game, not from this one.
Yes. Signe. Much as we appreciate your control and the way you run this town, I don't think we could change Church's view on your particular way of life. It's like asking nights to turn to day. You know what priests are like?
Well, perhaps.
I mean, if you did this in your own country, in Italy,
Yeah.
what would people say?
Well, they certainly wouldn't understand.
No, and your way is your way, but it's not my way. I can safely say, I do like to have a dalliance, but I wouldn't marry more than one woman. I don't think I'd marry, to be fair.
Marry one woman, what are you on about?
Yeah.
Well, I do not bother myself with those
Aren't
Catholics.
you worried if you're recalled back to Italy?
I have been here for so long. We do not recall me. We are happy with my services here. And he kind of gestures his arm out and around. And you get the sense that doesn't just include the buildings around you, but he sees the wider area kind of being part of his demesne.
I do believe them, Mr. Segni, that we may be at an impasse. Because I cannot change the will of the church. I could have a chat with the priest, the reverend, but I know the answer.
No. Perhaps we can. You merely wish to take train to Volcano
Yes.
to
And then come
take
back.
photographs.
That's right, and I'll ask Ralph to show his camera. I hope I got the right one. Alfred.
But
Alfred,
Ralph got
yeah.
one as well. We got two of them. Two
Yeah.
cameras.
Ah, yes. Ah, perhaps Mr. Alfred.
Yes.
Perhaps you take photo of my family.
Yes, though we probably need to take a few photos.
Unless you stand really, really far back.
Perhaps I get each of my wives and their children with me in photo, and you take photo of each wife and children. You make us look good, yes?
I could do, yes.
Excellent!
And then Segni, maybe the last one could be a group shot of you with your wives and your children surrounding you.
Oh, that would be good. And yes, and we could show it to the priest to show that it is a happy family. I like this idea. Let's just do this. Once we do this and I see photo, we discuss train.
Do you have somewhere to develop the photo here?
The army will sort the developing out. We talk to army helpers.
You'll notice as I take a step back.
Does he have any kind of military bearing about him or anything in the
He
place that looks
doesn't.
like he's got power?
He doesn't.
Okay.
There are some Italian soldiers in the village, though. You have seen a couple of them. Definitely not as many as there were in Massau, but there are a few here.
Yeah.
That is settled. I will go call my wives. We talk and we arrange. When can you do this?
Whenever's best for you.
How about tonight, when the sun goes down? Nighttime photo look good.
You will, but we'll have to get it with the sun behind us, or they're not going to be able to see you. You need lights to be able to take photos.
You photograph man. You deal with it. Come. We take refreshments, and I go tell my wives. They will be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Come. And he kind of gets up, takes another drag on his cigarette, puts it in his mouth, puts it in his hand, and then kind of walks you out. And he takes you to kind of like a, I don't know, kind of equivalent of a dining area. And he has, a couple of his wives bring out some trays of kind of African delicacies, scorpion, millipede, that kind of thing. Some African delicacies and some drink, some cool water, and probably camel's milk or something of that equivalent.
Nice. That's not blue, is it?
No. And
Green.
you spend
Camel's milk from the male camel.
Oh,
Oh no,
gloopy.
definitely not.
Warm and
Yeah.
salty.
Does anybody right? So, Alfred, do you have flattery?
No.
No. Okay, Joseph, you have to give me a flattery spend, a 1 point flattery spend.
Certainly.
Yeah, it's a personal interrogate, intimidate. Flattery in the reassurance is the closest I've got.
You've not spent enough time listening to Joseph with his silver tongue.
No.
Over the next couple of hours, you learn a little bit more about Segni as he kind of opens up and he gets to know you. And you kind of, Joseph goes to town on him a little bit with his silver tongue, flatters him a bit. Oh, your wife's beautiful. Your children are very attractive. And I can see they get their father's looks. And, all the kind of banter that makes him feel puffed up and self-important. Without
honesty shows that it's all bullshit.
Well, I don't know, because I really do like what he's done with the house. The layout's amazing. The mixture of different furniture and the way they've got the low table with the cushions around it, so we can all sit there and pick off the food. It's a great idea.
That's what you're saying, Joseph. But what your eyes are telling me is this place is a shithole.
Yeah.
Ralph's eyes currently couldn't roll enough.
I'm looking at the rat run across at the back and thinking, and then looking at something on the plate going, is it?
So he's been here since he was 15.
Wow.
And that predates the dig by about 2 or so years. So actually 1924 was when he first came here. That puts him, where were we, 1934. So it puts him about, actually no, he'd be here even before then. So probably before World War One. He's probably in his mid-40s. His youngest wife appears to be in her mid-20s. His oldest appears to be of a similar age to him. And, the children range from teenage down to toddlers, actually, and one baby. He does dote on his family. That's the one thing you note. He whenever the child comes up and talks to him, he will stop whatever he's saying to you and pay the child attention and then focus back onto you once the child's gone. He is not in any way, shape or form a bad father or even a bad husband. The three wives, from those of you with assess honesty, three wives all pay him the same level of respect. They also pay each other the same level of respect as well.
That's good.
And you get the sense, obviously, that the older wife has probably not had children recently, and the burden of childbirth is now on that youngest wife, with maybe one, in the last 2 or 3 years from the middle wife.
Mm.
They all seem to be happy with the arrangement. They're not, there's no malcontent. He talks a little bit about he remembers the volcano. You ask him a little bit about the eruption. You were obviously here when the volcano erupted.
Mm.
And it tells you a little bit about, by then, CMC had really stopped traveling down to Iron Point. They had.
Why was that?
Well, we had the CMC. He says the CMC. We had contracted with this dig, this Mr. Acuna, and his partner, a Mr. Ayres, to allow them to travel to the dig site when we took the trains to pick up the potash and bring it back. But they were very unhinged, That's Mr. Ayres, for instance. He was drug user. It was obvious he would often disappear in himself, be vacant. We found that he seemed a little unbalanced, as did Mr. Acuna. We found that, in general, they were untrustworthy. We had this arrangement with them that we would take their supplies from Massau to we would take supplies from Massau, bring them here to Mersa Fatma, and then down to Dalal village. But often we found them to be late or even sporadic payers of their contracts, and instructions were often lacking, missing, or even forgotten. And they would then accuse us of not delivering their goods on schedule when they needed them most. One day, Acuna would send us word that deliveries of some particular supply were to be stopped, and a few weeks later he'd arrive in Mersa Fatma in person, raving about the outrageousness that he didn't receive any of that particular supply in weeks.
Very strange. Did you have a lot of dealing with these two?
Oh, they were our main contacts for this dig. And so once this craziness began, it got out of hand, we started to distance ourselves. I informed the company that they were not trustworthy, that they were not paying on time, and that they were bullying my staff. And so the company agreed that we should perhaps take some time to reassess our relationship.
Especially if they're changing the terms of the contract halfway through.
Indeed. And that Ayres fella, he was just as bad. I remember I caught him taking some kind of drug.
Really, what did it look like?
Well, I didn't see what it looked like. It was in a small vial about this big. It had a quite sweet, mossy kind of smell about it.
There seems to be a lot of that in the Hollywood area of America at the moment. I've heard of this.
Oh, well,
Ghastly stuff. So the dig, is it still going on, or?
No. The dig was destroyed or abandoned when the volcano erupted in 26. After that, whilst we continued with our potash recovery, eventually, okay. It looks like the wife's been called by the son and not me. Okay. Whilst we continued as best we could the potash, then our relationship with the Afar happened, causing us to struggle with labour. They began stealing supplies, spreading malcontent amongst our workers. For some reason, they became unhappy with our arrangements.
Do you think that's had something to do with the dig? Were they helping the dig?
No,
They're purely potash.
I don't believe so. I just believe it was a group of women meddling who, for whatever reason, decided we were no longer honest employees. I have never shirked my duty and my responsibility to pay my employees. It is important. My employees, like my family, must be taken care of. Happy family, happy employees, work gets done.
I agree with your ideals there.
I have to. Sorry, go on.
I say, have you heard anything from Acuna or Ayres? I'm quite intrigued by these two now.
Well, I haven't heard anything from Ayres. He disappeared. I assume he was killed in the volcanic eruption. He was, I believe, at the dig site at the time, though I could be mistaken. Mr. Kuna, though, clearly wasn't, because I have heard just recently he has returned to Massa.
Really? Oh, bless. Do you know what he looks like, or? Well, you notice it looks clearly you've spoken to him.
No, I have not spoken to him for some time. I have not seen the man since the incident of 26, and I do not wish to see the man. He is a villain, a cad, an untrustworthy man. No, my attaché d'aide, Sinewy, mentioned just yesterday that he had seen him in Massa the day before.
Well, maybe I could speak to him at some point, because I would love to know what happened to his volcano when it went, or what happened to his the dig. What they were digging for.
I believe they were just digging for ancient African relics.
Right.
So they said. If you wish to know more about this Acuna, then please seek out my attaché.
I will do, yes. If you can point me in the right direction, I'll go and speak to him tomorrow, if possible.
Well, I would imagine he'll be here. If he's not in this building, he will be at Magazino Sink.
You're very kind, Signy. Thank you very much.
Well, I think we've talked enough, and by now it's probably close to sort of 6 p.m. I tell my wives to get ready. Are you ready for photographs, Mr. Photograph Man?
Yes.
Very good.
If you want some backlight, then Ralph can set fire to the building.
Quite easily.
All right.
Yeah, I'll have looked around for the best place to set up where the pictures will actually come out.
Okay. So you can spend no points, 1 point or 2 points of photography to determine how good a pictures you produce. Obviously, 0 is just an average standard,
Yeah,
no messing photo. 2 is you spend a lot of time framing, getting people in line and getting everything lined up to take the best photos you possibly can.
yeah, I'll spend the 2.
Oh, yes. Be your inner David Bailey.
All right. Actually, you find yourself taking more than 3 photos. Obviously, you end up taking quite a significant number of photos. I'm not sure in the 1930s whether it was real film or whether it was something else. But if it was real, you probably took close to a reel of photos, and of different angles, different positions, different ways you have them sat and holding children and children positioned, and it probably takes you the best part of sort of 3 hours really to get through the number of photos and the positioning, the lighting and stuff. And obviously, as it gets darker, you start to take a few more bits of mood lighting and have lanterns moved around. And Ralph, you're sat there, with a bit of a photography buff yourself. You're actually quite impressed with what Alfred does here. And Joseph, I mean, you have no clue, but he's clearly putting the effort in.
But you will find one photo in that reel where I snuck up behind everybody and jumped up.
Many photo bombs opportunities there.
Towards the end, a dark, swarthy skinned man comes in. He's wearing a suit jacket, like a greyish kind of linen suit jacket, trousers and boots, and he comes. Sinewy, how are you? Have you managed to find the sergeant? And he nods, and he speaks in the local language, and he goes, aha. The sergeant of the local garrison has photography materials. He is more than happy for you to use those. He says, come tomorrow, 9 o'clock. His name is Albertini. Luca Albertini.
While Siloui's there, and when I hear his name called out, I'll walk forward to him and say, Siloui, hello, my name is Joseph. Now I'll put my hand out to shake it.
Yeah.
And Segni here was just telling me about this wonderful story about the volcano and a dig and these 2 reprobates. And I thought maybe they both died in the volcano, but apparently you've seen one recently, Mr. Acuna.
Yes. I ran into him by chance just the other day.
In this very town?
No.
Oh, sorry,
I was in Massau.
Massau, sorry, my apologies.
Collecting goods and supplies for the boss and the company.
Gosh, I'm intrigued to know how he survived or what they were doing at this dig and what it was like to have the volcano go erupt at that point. Is there a chance you can give me a description of him so we could possibly look him out?
Yeah, he'll give you a description of the ground. Again, it's another one that there isn't a picture for, which is weird. He's a bit of a Weasley man. Let's have a look. How is he described? Let's see how they describe him. He's in his kind of 40s, possibly getting closer to 50, balding. Spaniard, slightly overweight, quite well dressed. Very crisp white shirt, linen, very pale, kind of tan coloured linen clothing. The kind of so it gives you a description that would be good enough for you to identify him if you went looking for him. He also tells you that it was the most disappointing, the most annoying hour that he lost chatting to the man who was essentially spent all of his time bragging about his accomplishments over the last decade since he had left. And it too seems that he had left just before or round about the time of the volcanic eruption. But he was also bragging that he had been invited on a critical government operation to the west of Massa.
Really? Did he brag about anything else, or?
Only that he was staying at the Hotel International, and that was about it.
Well, thank you very much, Louis. That's wonderful news. And if we need to look him up, we can quite happily go back. We have rooms there, if memory serves.
You do.
But a hotel is a hotel.
You notice the other thing you notice. He's got a big moustache, and when he talks to you, he kind of chews on bits of his moustache. But the thing that you notice most, obviously, he's wearing Western dress rather than local attire, even though he seems to be a local. He's not quite the same as people. He looks a little bit like the Egyptians that you saw when you passed through Cairo. It seems very much that, so the other thing that you notice is the cross pendant that he wears on display at sort of halfway down his neckline. It's where people wear pendants down to about here somewhere.
Yeah.
Damn cat's in the way, isn't he?
Yes.
To see where I'm pointing.
Like on the breastbone.
Yeah, on the breastbone. It marks him as a Christian, clearly. And he goes to take his leave and bids you good night, bids the master good night, and off he toddles.
Yes, that's very, very good.
You take your leave of Segni, head back to your hotel. As you kind of go in the door, a local gentleman, Mr. Westmore, sir.
Yes.
Telegram, Mr. Westmore.
Telegram. Okay, we'll walk over to the desk.
He
hands it. Oh, right, it's a handout one, right?
There isn't really a desk. I mean, this is more. If you look at it sideways, this hotel is more likely somebody's house that they've put up and done like half a dozen rooms. Put a couple of houses together. It's not. Yeah. There is a sort of desk at the front, but it's nothing like the desk.
It's more like four in a bed.
Yeah, exactly.
In which case, I will reach. I'll take the telegram and I will unfold it and read it.
It seems to be from the Hotel International.
Ah,
It specifically says it sort of says Bartolo Acuna, seen Massau, stop, headed west with Italian soldiers, stop. Destination Adua, stop. So actually southwest.
Do that's on the way to Axon, isn't it?
yeah. But I will pass it to the to Alfred and to Ralph.
Okay. You go up to your respective rooms.
Okay, that's weird. Wiki and Adua is in Italian.
Ralph,
Yes.
whilst everything appears okay about your room, there's just a couple of little niggly things that don't seem right.
Check the room, see whether it's been turned over in any way. See if anything's been taken.
The thing that jumps out at you as being odd is kind of your day bag where you carry all of your documents and things like that. It's not quite in the position you thought you left it.
Okay. Give it a check.
Your passport is missing. Everything else, the tablet, your notebook, the other notebook, all of that is in your bag. It is in a slightly different order to what you put it in, but it's in your bag. But your passport is not.
Right, go and knock on their doors.
Okay.
What's that?
Check your passport. Mine's been stolen.
I'm going to check.
It's been what?
Stolen.
Yeah, I'll go check.
Likewise, Alfred, and man,
Joseph.
Joseph.
Me
I
too.
thought, I just keep forgetting names. Likewise. Now you look around your room, everything is almost where you think you left it. But equally, your kind of day bag where you keep all your documents and stuff, not quite where you thought you put it. And when you respectively, each of you look in, the things in the day bag are not quite in the order you seem to think you left things in, and identifying documents are missing. And actually,
Go over
Joseph,
and check whether anything has been added as well.
Joseph, not only is your passport missing, but your letter from the what was his name? For goodness sake.
Letter of introduction.
The guy right at the beginning, Carlo Salvatore, your letter of introduction is also not present. Nothing has been added. Nothing else has been stolen. Your foreign currency, Joseph, your couple of $100 that you keep in your wallet, in your day bag, is all there.
I'll look around and see if there's any identifying marks like footprints or anything, because it's not a clean street. They left it any.
No, it's definitely not a clean street. There is one sandy print just by the door that is a size bigger than yours.
Okay. Have we met anyone that's bigger than me that we've actually come into contact with? So like the attaché or
You've
Uh,
probably met 2 or 3 people that are bigger than you.
Yeah.
But to be fair, until this point, you haven't really paid attention.
no. I'm just thinking people that we've encountered. That's.
I mean, there's nobody that stood out in terms of, oh my god, they were really tall, like 6'5" or something. Nothing like that at the moment.
Right.
What you can tell from the footprint, it's definitely not a military boot.
Okay, that was the next question.
It is more like a local sandal.
Okay. Okay, I'll pass this on to everyone else and have a look around their place to see if there's any other clues being left behind.
Doesn't appear to be.
So it's not the. Oh, it doesn't appear to be the military checking up on us. And considering we've been attacked numerous times.
Well, I'm going to go downstairs in an indignant way, and I'm going to find the manager. And
And he kind of looks at you and he says something in Italian.
And I know he can speak English, but I'm going to stand there and go, someone has been in our rooms and taken our passports. Who was here during the day that you didn't recognise?
I recognise everybody.
In which
Then
case,
who's
you
been
will know who went into our rooms.
He shakes his head. I not see your rooms from here. People come, people go.
Do we have keys to our rooms? Or are they just left open?
They're just left open.
I thought there might be.
It's not sophisticated.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to lock the door, like last night, you probably put a chair under it.
Yeah.
And also, you're all on the ground floor and you have no window panes. You just have curtains that you pull across the open thing that looks into like a courtyard of the back of the building. It's not.
Did it look like they came in through the window or the door? From
the footprint for you would be from the door.
Right.
I'm going to shake my head disgustedly and walk away back to my room.
Okay.
That's kind of frustrating. They've got our passports.
It was military, wasn't there?
Yeah. There's a small garrison here.
Oh, let's go and tell the military the closest place to the police, I suppose.
I never would have thought of doing that. But
Jonas is from here, is he?
No.
it's from Massau, isn't it?
He's from Massau, yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you won't know anyone local.
Let's search us.
Unless there is a police, some form of constabulary.
Not really. Right now, it's
I'll make sure I'll get my 1911 and check that it's loaded and take that with me.
Yeah,
okay.
Well. No problem.
I'll go armed as well.
Okay, it's about 9:20 in the evening. It's still warm. The garrison is in like a tented camp just on the outskirts of the village. As you kind of walk out indignant like through the darkness, and it is dark. I mean, the stars are out. The temperature has dropped quite drastically as well. It's probably down to sort of in the low teens by now, or is getting that way anyway as it gets dark because of the desert conditions. You work your way out, and you can see the flaming braziers and pits and things and torches from the camp, and you are, as you kind of approach, two Italian soldiers kind of march forward with their rifles and say something in Italian.
As we're coming out, I'm looking around to see if anyone's watching
Okay.
for us. So I would assume that once whoever stole it would expect to realise that.
Before I left, I'll have taken my backpack and put
Okay.
anything of value in there,
No problem.
and that'll be on my back.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So
At this moment in time, nothing jumps out at you. Nothing looks untoward. The soldier repeats what he's saying.
Hands up in a gesture of submissiveness. Hello, we stay at the hotel here, and we've been robbed.
Americano. What are you doing here in this godforsaken place?
We're coming to take photos of the volcano.
Interesting. You say you've been robbed?
Yes.
today.
The funny thing is that they only took our passports and a letter of introduction.
That is strange. No money taken?
No.
You have your American dollars, yes?
Yes, I do have the American dollars.
Strong value American dollar here. More so than our lira.
That will always be the case.
I know not. I know nothing. Please, I speak with Captain Albertini, see if he know anything. You wait here.
Thank you.
And he says something in Italian. The other guy kind of stands across the entranceway now with his gun in his hand. And he goes off, comes back about 10 minutes or so later with something in his hand. And the guard kind of stands there and he kind of looks at one of the papers and he opens it up and he says, Mr. Joseph Westmore?
That is me.
This what you lost? And he hands you your letter of introduction and your passport.
Why, thank you. How did you find this?
He kind of ignores the question for a second. Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Yours?
I'll have a look at it.
It is yours. Bit grubby, bit sandy, but it's yours.
Appears to be.
And Mr. Elliot, I presume, yes. And he hands yours. One of our patrols found it about 500 meters outside of camp, just beyond the CMC building perimeters. You must be more careful if you are out there. Do not drop these things. These are precious.
Yeah, they were in our room.
Well, clearly they were not. They were found on the floor.
Well, either way, our gracious thanks to you for bringing these back. And I'll give them like 50 cents or $1.
Okay. He smiles, he takes it, he pockets it. Thank you. Thank you. Now please go to this military base, this army base. Mr. Albertini says he has appointment with you 9 o'clock tomorrow.
That's right.
He looked forward.
Thank you.
You are a photographer, yes?
Yes.
You will have good time.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm glad you're going on your own, Alfred.
Yes.
Am I?
Yes,
no,
you are
no,
now. Do you know, if you want to have a good time, just call friends.
You two. You're the only friends I've got here.
I don't know you are.
You make your way back to the hotel. All right, Alfred.
You've been cloned.
Do me.
You get the sense that you are being watched as you walk back.
I'll surreptitiously see if I can figure out who's watching.
It's very dark, but for a fleeting second, perhaps in a doorway, I wouldn't say it's a street. It's kind of a haphazard collection of buildings kind of lining an area that may resemble some kind of road or street, or that's been turned into such a thing by the presence of the military. But you think for a second, in the corner, like in the doorway of one of these buildings, you see that brief ignite of a cigarette end, as though somebody's taken a drag on a cigarette, and it flares up, and then it dies down again.
Are we going to be taking turnings off between where I see that and our hotel?
Yes, before you get to that location, you'll be taking a sort of a right.
I shall try and tell the others that keep going. I'm going to try and see who's tailing us, and I'll sneak off into the side and wait for someone to follow them.
Okay.
See who comes around.
Okay. How long are you waiting?
5 minutes. I would assume that they want to try and keep everyone in sight.
Okay. Joseph and Ralph, you make your turning and you head off to the hotel. From where you are, from your location, you can kind of watch them just about get. Again, it's dark, so they'll disappear from view really before they quite get to the hotel. But you're pretty sure, as you know, that distance, you get to, you can see everything's fine. Nobody's following them. As they kind of disappear into the night, you feel / sense something next to you, and sort of almost materializing sort of out of the darkened shadows around you stands sort of a 6'3" individual wearing a fez, like a waistcoat, a white sort of linen shirt that's kind of buttoned open to about here, sandals, and local kind of trousers.
Do I recognise him at all?
You've not seen this individual at all.
Okay.
He looks you up and down. You can see at his belt, it's kind of like got a sash. There are two wickedly looking curved knives kind of stashed in it. He's almost like the guy out of Indiana Jones that pulls out the two swords.
I was just googling that to put a photo up.
I was just thinking, I have got my gun with me, so we could reenact it.
And he just says to you in pretty good American sounding English, like where he's picked it up from, it's been in the presence of Americans. Do not reach for your gun. I merely wish to talk to you. Westerners here do not survive long. They survive even less in Dalol, where mountains fall upon them. Go home. It will be safer that way.
Who sent you?
No one sent me. I send myself to ask you politely, leave. Good night, Mr. Elliot. And with that, he literally turns his back to you, starts to walk off.
Okay. I'm not going to attack him or anything. I'll watch him leave, see roughly where he's going, and then head back to the hotel and tell the others.
You so should have shot him, you know that.
He takes.
Yeah.
You really should have shot him in the head.
But knowing my luck, there were others waiting nearby to do the same to me as soon as I did.
Wouldn't do him any good though, would it? Be dead.
He would, but I might be shortly after by his mates.
A couple of things that you notice about him, well, three things in particular. So when he was standing talking to you, he had impossibly good posture. And every few words, he would look beyond you. And you got the sense that he was like scanning the horizon for something. And then when he just said, when he told you what he wanted to tell you, that, Westerners don't live very long. And he said, good night, Mr. Elliot. He literally just stopped any kind of attempt at conversing with you, turned and walked off in silence. You watch him kind of go about a couple of 100 feet, maybe 60, 70 yards down the road, and then he seems to disappear to the right, heading sort of towards the CMC buildings, though they're a little bit closer to you than where he seems to have disappeared. But he's not gone down the road as far as the army encampment.
So his posture, did it hint at military training? Type of standing at attention type of thing, or trained fighter type of...
Yes, definitely trained fighter.
Okay.
Sorry, are you back with us now, or?
Yeah, I'm coming back to fill you in on what I've just, the encounter I've just had. I think I just missed one of the Afar.
Really?
The look of him, I'd say he's the one that took our passports. Can't be sure. But he warned us away that Westerners don't tend to live around here.
That's a good job believing.
He looked like he could handle himself, but wasn't threatening, more of a warning.
More intimidating.
No, very matter-of-factly. As if he may even be on our side type of thing, and warning us it's not safe. I didn't feel like...
So. I don't think there's anybody here that's on our side.
Probably not, but maybe not on the side of the cultists.
Keep all doors open.
I think that we're just in the middle of many factions who aren't on our side.
Yeah.
I'll be sleeping with my door jammed tonight.
You need to put something over the window as well, then.
That's a good point. Yes.
The thing that's going over the window is the bed frame, and the mattress is going on the floor.
Good idea.
Well, you settle down for the night, and you have a trouble-free rest.
For those 2 hours, we get to sleep where we're not going, "Oh, what was that? What was that?"
And for
You
read.
wake.
I would actually suggest that we all be in one room.
Yes.
You can do that. You all sleep together in one room, spooning.
It's not the first time. It's been on
With
my plane.
Alfred in the middle. And actually, in a funny way, that wouldn't bother Alfred because sleeping in the trenches, you were probably like that anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, that
What,
wouldn't...
naked?
No,
Yes,
not naked.
spooning
Didn't say that.
between two men.
But yes, it
That's
wouldn't
where
bother.
that's where the Alfred sandwich comes from.
And on that note, we will take a 10-minute break,
Yes.
come back at 10 to.
10 to. Right.
Charlotte.
Not so.
On
Well-
today's session or overall? Today's session fairly. Well, from I was expecting to get accosted and warned off type of thing, but the first bit, no, I wasn't expecting to become a photographer.
Well, you see, he likes flattery. Becoming a photographer, giving him photographs of his wife and family that are really good means he can show it off.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't approve of the three wives, but I'm not saying anything because I might rock the boat. Obsessive. So
Well, he's got Salui, his manservant as such, or his secretary.
yeah,
It's a Christian.
I know
He is.
that.
Clearly, he
Who
won't
doesn't?
approve.
Exactly. All right. So, are we back? Are we ready?
Quick question before we do. How many XP are we on? We get any last time? I can't remember. I'm down as 14. I just want to make sure that I'm up to date.
How many sessions is this?
This is
the
9.
9.
eighth, isn't it? We missed one, didn't we?
We missed one, yeah.
We missed last week.
So I've got
Yeah.
8 for this.
No, because the last one I got posted was, let me double check, was number 8. So this one's number 9.
So we should have 16.
Correct. I don't
Yeah.
think I gave you. I forget to give you XP every week, but yeah, you should have had 2 last week.
Just so
Last
I can
session.
my notes.
That's what I've done. I put 2 session 7s in, that's why.
7 sessions, and you've got to Ethiopia.
Yeah, we've got sidetracked.
No, it's pretty good actually. I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah, You did the first act much quicker than I expected you to do. That said, you didn't quite complete Act 1. So
No.
there are a few things that...
Short of actually attacking a kind of armed installation, which is his house, I don't think we could have done much in there yet.
Following day, you arise bright and early. Well, actually, it's about 6:15 in the morning. The sun is out. The heat is already starting to build.
Was it 6 I was supposed to be meeting?
9 o'clock.
9, yeah.
9, right, okay.
You were undisturbed. And in fact, not like movies where your other rooms have all been stabbed and slashed and slaughtered. There was no problem at all.
I do think that we'll rise, or I'll rise at least, and shave, wash, shave, or vice versa. And there's no breakfast here, is there? I don't think it's
not in the truest sense. You will be able to get probably fresh fruits, maybe some dried meats, other kind of local things that, camel's milk, camel's cheese.
Yeah.
If that's a thing.
I will do so. I will partake of food.
Yeah. Again, it's very, very simple fare. It's nothing like what you're used to back in the States.
And now, from now on, I will make a point of my backpack with my things in will follow me everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. If you don't tell me you've got it, I assume you don't, and I assume it's fair game for me to raid and ransack and
pretty much
mess with.
carrying everything with us all the time.
I assume, though, so the belongings, your clothes and things, do you have suitcases or steamer trunks?
I don't have that much, really. I probably have like the carryola the army use for.
Yeah, and Joseph would have one of those large
Exactly.
backpacks that store everything with like pans clacking off the side, that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to assume that those of you who aren't used to travelling, you just have a classic 1930s suitcase. So one of those with the extra straps around that you can kind of buckle up and stuff, with your little basic kind of things. Nothing fancy. It's probably wood with maybe a thin layer of leather over top of it. But beyond that, it's fairly straightforward.
Most of my stuff's in the US Army haversack that I've been carrying around.
Yeah,
all right.
Mine will be like the large canvas bags.
All right, you all have large canvas bags instead of suitcases. Then that's absolutely fine. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
you enjoy a breakfast. I guess we'll just fast forward time unless you want to do anything to 9 o'clock.
No,
I'll just be reading. I'll be reading until.
Okay.
I'll lose more film into the camera and things ready, just in case I get asked to take more photos.
Okay.
Get everything in order to ready to develop them. That's probably going to take a while.
Jonas joins you for breakfast. He lives locally, but he does join you for breakfast. Asks if you would need his services at all today.
Honestly, don't know. I'm going to this morning. Going to be with the sergeant, Luca Albertini. Do you know anything about him?
Italian captain, he says. Italian sergeant.
Yes.
Don't know much. Heads up the garrison. Comes into, can be seen around the village occasionally. Seems to be typical Italian. Do you wish me to come along and translate?
I would have
It,
to
it, it
speak
might
English,
it
but
might be worth it.
yeah.
But
Yeah, if you don't mind. I don't know whether he can speak English. I would assume he can, but just to avoid any misunderstandings,
Okay.
especially
yeah,
with.
but when we go in, let's not say that you speak Italian, and we'll start off by speaking English. So if they go off to one side talking in Italian, they can let us know if it's anything we should be bothered about.
Also, Jonas, my friend here was stopped by a very tall person with a turban.
Fez.
A fez.
I'll describe him, and especially the knives, because the knives are likely to be fairly identifying as culture and things. Do you know anything about who he is or where he could have come from?
I have seen him a couple of times. I think he works one of the dhows that travels the coast. A harmless man. Never seen him with a knife like you describe.
He had two. And the way he was standing, he knew how to use them.
Sounds like I think he calls himself Jerome. I think he has been employed by the Italians on occasion, and hence why he took a name that was easier for them to speak.
Sounds. I'll keep an eye out for him. If he'd have meant us harm, he'd have been able. He's had plenty of times to do it, but
Let's just hope he does not.
yeah.
Shall we go? Come.
Yep.
Okay, what are you doing today, this morning, Joseph? Okay, what are you doing? What are you doing this morning, Ralph?
Well, if you don't need me, I'll read. I'll wait for you to finish.
Okay.
Carry on reading. I've still got a lot to be catching up on.
Sorry, a phrase you'll never hear from me ever again. I had a mouthful of ginger nuts. I will go and wander through the village or the town, and maybe go head towards where you see thick paged where the trains are.
Okay.
Yeah, just to have a mosey around there and see what sort of state of repair things are in. Not that I could actually know what to do, but I'll be able to tell whether they're beyond repair or just sat there.
Okay. Are you reading anything in particular, Ralph?
Let me find my list. See what I can make a start on. I will make a start on the German cult one.
Aussprechen Sie Kult, or whatever it's
That's
called.
the one, yeah.
The Unspeakable Cults. A classic Cthulhu book.
So when I come back, he's a gibbering wreck in the corner.
Very possible. Unaussprechlichen Kulten.
The one. I think that's the last one I've got. I
think
need
it
to
is
read.
the last one that you've got.
Because I think I've read Cigarettes of the Pre-Helladic period, which just gave me...
That was a good read for you. You liked that.
It did. I didn't get anything for it, and it didn't give me any negative points, so it was a
No.
brilliant read.
And it was one of your stability things, wasn't it? The search for knowledge.
Always, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, it's not the stability. It's my driver.
The drive through, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the version that you have is the Bridewell copy. Originally published in Dusseldorf in 1839, the Nameless Cults, or Unaussprechlichen Kulten, as it is known, also goes by the name of the Black Book, written by an eccentric German named Friedrich Wilhelm von Juntz. The copy that you have is the cheap and faulty translation pirated by Bridewell in London in 1845. Though it is better and superior in all ways to the better known, though thoroughly expurgated version published by the Golden Goblin Press of New York in 1909. Even more so because the version that you have in your hands appears to have been heavily annotated in the margins by someone consulting the original German text. So to your trained eye, whilst it's not an original edition, it is definitely better than the more readily available Golden Goblin Press version. The addition of extra copy and annotations in the margins to a collector or who has an interest in this kind of stuff, it could be quite valuable. For today's purpose, the time that you have, you can gain yourself a 1 point dedicated pool. So 1 dedicated pool point for any investigative ability that involves cults. But it's only usable once per... it says once per adventure, but in this situation it would be once per location or major event.
One dedicated pool point for occult investigation, yeah?
Yeah, but it's anything, any investigative skill that you wish to apply to figuring something out or learning or doing something with cults.
Yeah.
There is more to learn if you continue pouring over.
Yeah, I will be. It'll be. This is my next read, so.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Joseph, give me a streetwise. Actually, give me a streetwise roll. It won't let you because it's not a general skill as such. Have you got streetwise?
I don't think I do.
Then you would have absolutely no clue. All right. You
I
want this?
do have stealth, sense trouble.
Okay, give me a sense trouble roll. Again, it won't let you because I don't think it's a general skill. So
It's
sense trouble. Okay, so
It's a general. Yeah.
Oh, he spent 2 points for sense trouble.
Yeah, you got me worried after that.
Yeah, no, the streetwise and the interpersonal.
Jesus. Okay. Your journey from the hotel takes you sort of the village. You know, to get to the CMC buildings from the hotel is probably a 5. You could stretch it to 10-minute walk if you're being very slow. Nothing here is very far away. We talk about this as a village. There's probably a dozen to maybe 20 buildings, plus the CMC buildings, which is kind of like a complex of sort of 5 warehouses and the administration building, which is a bit of a sprawl. There's the camp on the edge, then there's the walk, down from where you are down to the coast. That in itself is probably a kilometre at best. So there's not, there's no real cover. There's very few bushes. It's quite a desolate place. People are moving around. There are a few people moving around. Most of them are labourers. Most of them are heading off down to the boats or doing other kind of labour type activities. There is as you're kind of, you leave for maybe 50 yards of your walk, you do get the sense that you're being followed, and kind of glancing over your shoulder, you watch as a man disappears round the corner that meets the description, or similar to the description that Alfred spoke about last night.
I was going to ask if I keep an eye out for a Fezman.
This time it doesn't have a fez, but he still has that same general mannerisms that Alfred described. Heading back into the complex, there are a couple of wagons, vehicular wagons here that are currently being unloaded by sort of 4 individuals. There's maybe 3 wagons in total. And they're taking the goods, they're mixing the goods. Some are going to one of these warehouses, another one are going to the administration buildings. There's only one of the warehouses that has a rail line running from it, or a rail head, and that has the number 5 painted above the door. As you kind of go, and the doors at the front are open, and you kind of go and peek in. The track, as far as you can see when you kind of look down the track, it looks intact. It looks pretty good. It does look like in a couple of places further towards the edge of your vision that you can see sand may have blown over the track. And you kind of lodge that in your head. If this track hasn't been travelled on and it's 50 miles, you have no idea whether it's buried, whether it's got drifts. And so if you're going to take a wagon, a train down there, you probably need to consider that as stuff you need to do.
If a train hit a sand dune, for example, I'm assuming it would just tip over?
Potentially. It would depend how big the sand dune is, but yeah. The engine, though, that's in there does seem to be of a decent state.
Yeah, if nobody's looking, or if anybody's looking, I'll wave at them, and I'm going to clamber aboard and just have a look at the mechanisms. And I've flown planes.
I would. Do you have driving?
I do. I thought I did. Oh yes, I do. It was off my page. I do have driving. Yes. Okay.
So with a driving skill, you would be able to fathom out how this works. Okay.
So
I think Alfred has got an even better driving skill.
Yes. Wow. I have driving.
So you would absolutely know how a train works. Or you would know enough to get the train going, for sure. Nobody really challenges you. But a couple of people do watch you, and one person, probably one of the employees, kind of loiters by the door, and he kind of just rests his back on the door, smoking a cigarette, and just watches you.
Yeah, I think once I've seen it, I will rather make other people uncomfortable. I'll go back, and I'll head back to either an eatery or the hotel.
Yeah. And going back to the hotel, you're not followed, you're not accosted. It's all at one point, as you kind of turn out from where the side road, if you like, to the CMC building, you have to stop as you hear this hoot, and a sort of an army wagon comes rolling down with tarp over it. One of those where there's probably several soldiers sat in the back. And as they go past, a couple of soldiers in the back. But you're not bothered by anybody. Nobody challenges you, and you make your way back to the hotel, no problem.
Wonderful, thank you.
Alfred. You arrive at the gates. and introduce yourself. Jonas kind of does the translation into Italian. The gate guard immediately asks you to follow him and takes you back to the captain's tent where you went last night. You didn't actually meet him. You didn't meet him last night? No, you didn't meet him last night. Yeah, okay. So it takes you to like this tent in the center, almost in the center of the camp. There's the Italian flagpole with the Italian flag kind of limply hanging down from the flagpole because there's very little wind at the moment. There's some talking going on, and the guide kind of pauses, sticks his head through the tarp. There's a response. He sticks his head back and he says, it'd be a captain, not a sergeant. The captain will see you in a few moments. Please wait. And he disappears off. And sure enough, after about sort of 5, maybe 10 minutes of being kept waiting, a man comes out, followed by a second man. And the second man is kind of, it looks like Captain what was his name? Captain Albertini, yeah. Yeah, you know exactly who I mean, don't you? Yeah. It looks like him. Was it Captain Bertolli as well in I can't remember. Anyway, and he says, his English is passable, it's not perfect by any stretch of imagination. Mr. Elliot, photographer.
Yes.
Come.
Thank you.
And the back, there's a small portion of the back of the tent. It's obviously got extra layers of canvas around it. And he smiles. Well, welcome to my headquarters and my and he nods to this canvas area at the back. My makeshift ready dark room.
Thank you.
I am somewhat of a photographic man myself. Let me show you. And there's a table, and he takes you over, and he starts showing you photos, and they're pretty decent. He's captured a lot of the scenery and a lot of the areas. Several photos of the village itself. In a couple of the photos, you can spot Jeremy or Jerome.
Okay.
In one of them, he's kind of leaning a little bit sort of sardonically against the doorway, cigarette in hand, seems to be looking straight at the captain taking the photo. In another one, you can see that he's carrying a load of stuff, and he seems to be down near the waterfront. So it definitely seems that he is some kind of labourer for a boat.
Okay. Do you know who this man is?
Just a local. He worked at the Downs, up to Massau and back.
Okay. I encountered him last night, that's all. I was just curious as to who he was.
He polite, or do I need to have word?
No, he was polite.
Oh, yeah, very good. So shall we develop yours? I'm interested to see. Mr. Signey suggested that you took good photos of his family.
I took lots of photos of his family. Whether they are good or not, we shall see.
Well, come. Let us talk as we develop. And over the next couple of hours, you basically develop your reel of film. The captain is a very genial individual when you get talking about photography. After a while, he sort of opens up, and he's been here. It's a hard posting because of the heat. He's definitely not used to the heat. He misses his wife and his family, and he hopes to be able to get back to them soon. But he does kind of say, war is coming.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling at Nassau with the number of troops that were there.
Indeed. It looks like we will need to perhaps march soon. But whilst we don't have to march, I will enjoy taking my photos. And he's got a couple of photos of birds and other local flora and fauna. Your photos are, I would say, of the photos that you took. Exactly. I would say the photos that you took, there are probably a half dozen good ones. The others are okay. They're not crap by any stretch of the imagination, but these 6 that you've got absolutely jump out. You caught the lighting right, the positioning right, everything is right. And the captain is very, very impressed with these photos. And he points out to you all the things that he likes about them. And he's clearly trying to demonstrate that he has some knowledge about photography and an eye for capturing images.
Have you been to the volcano at all to take photos? That's what we're planning on doing because we've heard it's stunning.
Unfortunately, I am not allowed.
Ah.
My orders do not permit too far into enemy territory.
Ah,
But
how
you may
dangerous
go.
is it?
You will be fine. It is not too bad, but yes, we are. How do you say? Our uniform makes us stand out.
Yeah, makes you targets.
Yes, and you not Italian, you American, so less target. Though still a risk. There
Yeah.
are bandits in the area, so I caution your travels. Make sure you get armed.
We will be. Thank you. I'll compliment some of his
Yeah,
pictures and what I like about them just to.
there are some good ones, there are some mediocre, and there are some sort of middle of the road. You definitely have the better eye overall. He's kind of starting on his journey.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give him a couple of pointers that I picked up over time.
And his camera is definitely an older model compared to your camera.
Yeah. Okay.
You have a good couple of hours. You know, he is very accommodating whilst all the photos are developing and stuff like that. He serves you refreshments. He does ask you some questions. You know, why are you here? Where, you know, a little bit about America in general. Whether there are any, you know, he starts poking around for American interests in the area, you know, that kind of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah. Okay.
But he would do because he's you know, he is captain of an army and he's
Yeah.
going to try and get intelligence wherever he can.
I won't let on that I'm ex-military, but if it comes up, I'll admit to being police. So if he sees any military bearing, I'll put it down to the police side of things.
Just give me a sec. There we go. Gets to about lunchtime, and one of his aides come in, and they speak for a moment in Italian, and he kind of, Mr. Elliot, I'm afraid our very pleasant time together has come to an end. I am needed for duties.
Okay. Thank you for the hospitality.
You are
I
more
shall
than welcome.
I shall take these to Sydney.
Very good, very good. Well, I wish you, if you do go down to Volcano, I wish you safe journey, and not encounter bandits.
Yeah, that would be preferable.
And he has one of his attaches shows you out of the camp basically, and you take the photos and all that kind of stuff and make your way back to the hotel. By now, you're all back at the hotel, kind of sat around in Ralph's room. He kind of finishes his book and kind of had been commenting a little bit about things that he was reading to Joseph. Yeah, it's just gone 12 o'clock. The heat is strong again. What are you going to do?
Cold drinks and lunch.
I'll show the photos to everyone just in case there's anything there that jumps out at them that they might want to follow up on. Right. Something that might be in the background that I missed while I was taking the photos. I think something of interest.
Nothing that you can see. Just looks like photos of a pleasant family. You know, the same man with different women and children. It looks like
Yeah.
a bit weird, but
Like you've been hired by the wives to take pictures of the mistresses, but they're all married to the same guy.
Yeah. It's probably something I've done as one of my jobs.
yeah.
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 Investigating on that person cheating. Oh, he's got 2 of them.
2 of them. Yes. Possibly more to come. I will pass on information about the train. It looks in pretty damn good condition. The track, though, is my worry because the track seems fine leaving here, but then I can see sand going over it at certain points. So if we did go up via train, we'd have to take it slow and steady. And rather than fly over the tracks and the sand, maybe try to push through the sand and have the weight of the train.
It'd take a lot of sand to stop it.
But take shovels just in case.
Yes.
Did the train have a brush on the front?
I'm assuming it would do in the desert, wouldn't it? One of those skirt things that come off like a
so,
point.
So a lot of it may get pushed aside anyway.
But again,
was there a coal and a coal sump and a water tower there, and were they full?
There was definitely a water tower and a sump. Yes.
Wonderful.
You don't know how full they were because you didn't actually rattle them or check them, but
hopefully he'll be happy with the photos and provide everything we need to make it there and back. How easy did it look to control, just in case he doesn't provide a driver?
I've never driven a train before, but looking at the mechanisms, it seems straightforward as in the sense of you have a brake, you have a go faster, and I think it's more like releasing pressure into the into the engine.
At least we don't have to worry about steering.
I do think you would know more about this than I would.
Can't say I've ever actually driven the train, but give it a go.
okay.
Give me a book on the theory, and I'll be able to work it out.
Lunch is actually you managed to get some fresh fish that the hotel has got in for you. So freshly caught fish from the sea.
Oh,
Thank you.
It's not bad.
Looks a bit like a rat, but they're saying it's a fish.
Correct. Yeah.
the hairy fish.
Yeah.
I take it. Sorry, come.
I was going to say the manager. Ask if he knows Jerome.
He shakes his head. Name not rings a bell.
That might be the name that's used with the Italians. I'll describe him.
Ah, that gentleman was here yesterday. Yesterday afternoon.
There you go.
He was the one that took our passports, by the sounds of things. But
I will keep my eye and not let him in if he comes back.
Thank you.
To one side, I will say to Alfred, maybe he took our passports to learn our names.
Yeah, I got the impression it was to check us out. Because the warning did seem more
Of advice
Help,
rather than
yeah.
like, get out of my land, get off my
Yeah.
land.
more to help us than a threat.
Hmm.
I could be misreading it, but he could have quite easily attacked us.
Well, you in particular, on your own.
Hmm.
And let's face it, if one American dies over here, I don't think they're bat an eyelid.
No. The captain did confirm that war's likely to be breaking out soon, so we might want to get this over with quickly, just in case it comes sooner than he expected.
I agree, but I'm concerned about the FR. Can we find any information on them at all this afternoon, and maybe?
And there's bandits in the area as well, apparently. So.
I'm going to take a leap of faith here and say that's probably the FR.
I'm guessing the same, but I'm not making assumptions.
Ah. Yep. Okay.
Jonas appears towards the end of lunch, and he kind of says, to the best of my knowledge, and he kind of lays it out. He says, whilst I appreciate this is not very good, nor to scale, this is the best I can do to describe the route that you need to take.
That's pretty damn good, Jonas.
Yeah. So that's 50 miles. So it's still quite a long way between 9 points and Dalol, and then from Dalol to the dig site, if it's to scale.
So if we take horses, camels in the train, or lots and lots of water.
Yep.
Yeah.
And travel at night.
Have we seen any horses? I didn't think so.
All camels.
What do you think you've been eating?
So lots and lots of water.
So what are your plans for the afternoon?
Am I expecting Signy to summon us, or are we just take these?
He didn't say he would summon you, so your assumptions would be just to go and present yourselves in the photos.
Maybe wait till it cools down a bit.
Okay.
I think the same thing. What we could go back with the photos at the same time you took the photos.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in the meantime, we can probably just ask the locals about the affair and maybe source out some transport after the train.
Okay. So you learn about the Afar. They're a nomadic group of herdsmen who travel by camel and generally raise goats, sheep, and cattle. Most communities of the Afar spend the drier months near the Awash River, moving to higher ground in the wintry, rainy season. So they are probably beginning to move to the higher grounds now. They they live in domed tent houses built from a branch framework covered by grass and mats. Communities' tents are clustered together in their camps. Politically, the Afar are organised along both clan and class lines, with clans making up extended families and classes providing an indication of whether a given individual is a leader or a worker. They are predominantly Islamic and speak the Afar language. Both men and women wear waistcloths, which women dye brown and men wear undyed. Women wear necklaces and go bare-breasted. Married women wear black headscarves. Their hair is often braided and woven with beads. Men often wrap shawls around their torso and carry staffs used to herd animals. The diets consist of milk and meat with sorghum-based porridge and pancakes supplementing the food.
So when you say the probably moves to the high ground, I would assume that the mountain would be part of the high ground.
Yeah.
That the dig site may have been their territory.
But also the mountain's a volcano, isn't it?
Correct, yeah. So there is a ridge of mountains that runs pretty much north-south to the west of where you are anyway. And so it's probably those mountains that they kind of move to.
Okay. Good luck, we won't encounter them.
Correct. With a little bit of effort, you can definitely source some camels from the locals. There is a small amount of money that exchange hands, a few dollars. It'd probably be as little as sort of $10, maybe $20, depending. But you could certainly source 4 camels plus a pack camel if that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
Or 3 camels. Sorry, 3 camels and a pack camel, so 4 camels in total. So you can source them. Food and supplies a little bit harder to come by, and in the end, you actually have to go and speak with the captain to see if he can, provide you with any of the army supplies, just to make up the bulk.
It's more dried meats and waters, isn't it?
Yeah, just dry rations.
Again, a little bit of money has to exchange hands, this time into the captain's pocket. And he does provide you with some rations. Not many, but there's only 3 of you, and he will be able to supply you with sort of 3 days total rations. So actually 10 men's worth of rations, or 10 man days worth of rations, if you like.
I think the water's probably more important than anything.
Yeah, you can get a couple of barrels of clean, fresh water as well. So that's all good. Evening comes. You head back to the CMC building, and you kind of wait a little bit and present yourself back to Mr. Segni. He is delighted with the photos and has gathered all of his employees to show them the photos. And unsurprisingly, they all kind of make a big fuss and flatter his looks, his family's looks, his wife's looks. They flatter the photography, the photographer, everything. They're very much, as you said earlier, they fawn over him and really make an effort to go out of their way to make him feel important and loved is not the word, but generally, puff up his ego. Towards the end of the evening, probably getting on for sort of 9, a little bit farther, he takes you out onto his veranda, if you can call it a veranda. It's just the back entrance of the office block, really, where he's got a couple of bales and things, sort of blocks of salt brick that you can sit on. And he pours you all drinks. And he says, "Gentlemen, I think we can agree that it has been a while since we sent a train down to Iron Point, and I, for one, would be curious, and we would be curious to make sure that the train tracks are still functional. So I think we can see it right that a train can depart tomorrow for Iron Point. We can ensure that you are on that train. And yes, anything you wish to take, please bring. I unfortunately cannot provide you with any rations or any supplies. Sorry, not rations. You wouldn't use that word. Any supplies. But yes, I will have a couple of my men journey down there who can steer the engine, unless, of course, you think you can steer it yourselves.
Never have done before, so I wouldn't want to take the risk if you can provide someone.
Well, my men will be happy for you to learn and teach you how to man the wagon. So, shall we say 9 o'clock tomorrow?
Sounds good.
It does, my friend. That sounds like a wonderful thing. And do you know what? Those photos would look lovely on that wall, and that wall, with a lovely gold frame.
I will see. Yes, I will. I will. I will have Sinery see if he can obtain one from Nassau. If not, I will put an order into Cairo.
And thank you again for your help, and may you and your families prosper.
Yes, and you too. Well, I shall bid you good night, and
Good night.
yes, the wagon will be ready tomorrow.
Thank you.
Same room and door and windows.
No problem.
Paranoia.
Paranoia has kicked in, which is good.
Not really paranoia when somebody's already broken into a room, though.
Yeah, this is true.
Had we done it beforehand, maybe.
This is true.
Just out of curiosity, has anyone got riding for when we actually have to ride the camels? I am.
Riding what? Sorry.
Has
And
anyone
not
got
riding.
riding for when we need to use the camels?
No, I can make a roll on it.
I do.
I've got 0 in it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We've got 0, so it could be interesting. It's like, yeah, we want to go that way. The camels decide they want to go that way.
Joseph can ride, though.
Yes, and if my mum can ride, any bugger can ride. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, normally you have the good rider at the front, and all the other camels follow him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have nobody that's skilled in explosives, hypnosis, or mechanics.
No. Oh,
Or chemistry or archaeology. Those are your 5 skills that you're weak in.
mechanics I was thinking of at some point, but
Archaeology I will go into.
didn't even think of.
Okay, let's fast forward to the following day. You get everything to the CMC building, and there is a wagon. Currently, smoke is kind of drifting lazily out of its funnel. There is the coal tender attached to it. There is a carriage attached to the back of that, which appears to be a mixture of passenger, sort of half passenger, half goods. And not quite begrudgingly, but certainly the back of the goods, they can lower a ramp or connect a ramp up, probably lower a ramp actually, and get your camels inside. We've clearly done that before. You take a seat in the wagon at the main passenger wagon, and just after 9 o'clock, you hear the toot toot of the horn, or the whistle, and you feel that motion of the train as it begins to kind of move. A couple of times the wheels slip a little bit, and then it starts to roll, and the speed gets up. But then it doesn't. You can about 10 miles an hour maximum.
Oh, that's fine. Because I was going to go to the front and say, just keep it slow and steady.
The first hour or two of the journey. Yep. Yeah, it's probably less than 10 miles an hour. It's probably not much faster. You could certainly keep up with it with camels. You probably travel probably 10 or so miles down the track. The track at places has encountered small drifts, but the train, at the speed it's going, manages to kind of push through those drifts and continue. But sort of an hour or two, maybe an hour and a half into the journey, you all kind of feel the train slow and then stop. Lets out a big hiss of steam.
Okay.
Pull
Pull
down,
down the window
at
and take
lookout.
a look out.
There's nothing immediate that you kind of there's no danger, no immediate danger. But what you do see is that the crewman that is kind of driving the train, plus the one other crewman that's kind of with him, they both hop off the train with shovels in hand.
Okay. I'll get off.
Yeah, exactly the
If there's
same.
any, get another shovel and go and help.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a half dozen shovels in obviously the coal truck. So you grab shovels and you come around the front and you can see that whereas before you were punching through sort of, half a foot deep, maybe to a foot deep worth of sand, you've got a good 2 to 3 foot deep drift that's probably maybe 10 or so feet wide. And they're just attacking it, just trying to clear the route as best as possible.
Yeah, many hands make light work.
Okay. Takes you a good hour to be able to clear the sand. As you can imagine, every time you dig, it just falls in on itself. And so it's a little bit of a battle. But the 5 of you eventually get the drift gone enough to allow the train to continue forwards.
Once we've done that, I'll take a sip from a hip flask and I will pass it around to everybody.
Okay. And the 2 drivers refuse.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of
I'll drink from a water bottle.
Yeah, they'll take their own drinks. The train continues another hour or so. You travel another sort of 10 or so miles. That hour stretches into another hour. You're now about 30 miles, sort of maybe 20 miles left of your journey. The train slows again.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out with binoculars, just see if I can see anything
Okay.
out of the ordinary. See if anyone's trailing us like camels over on the sand dunes type of thing or anything.
To your right, above the other side of a dune, you think you can make out something like a cloud, a dust cloud or a sand cloud or something that's kind of been kicked up into the air. Seems to be heading diagonally in your direction.
Okay, we've either got a sandstorm on this way or somebody riding something kicking up sand, I think. Or something driving kicking up sand. And it seems to be heading towards us, but diagonally intercept.
So further up the track.
Yeah.
In front of you, there are more drifts. And this time not as big as the previous drift. It takes you all about 30, 35 minutes for you to clear. It's getting hot. In fact, it's quite difficult work. to the point that you're now all starting to feel the heat. No glasses on, so I can't read the numbers on this paper because they're too small. Oh, that's page 6. 5, 9 and 10. Clearly everything is not in order that it should be. 4. There we go. By the time you finished, your brains are a little bit fuzzy, a little bit kind of mushy. Thinking, making snap decisions seems to be a little bit harder. You're feeling a little tired. You are all suffering 1 point of heat exhaustion. At the moment, you need to spend 10 minutes before making any form of skill spend to try and gather your thoughts. The train, once again, sets off.
In the shade, get plenty of water.
Yeah, you get yourself
Yeah.
into the shade, you sit down, get plenty of water. The next 10 miles or so travel again goes without any further incident.
Where's that dust?
Yeah,
that
I'm
you
going to
saw,
get my
Alfred?
rifle out as well, just in case.
The dust seems to be following you now,
Okay.
just keeping itself out of view. As you kind of get to sort of 3-ish late, beginning to get late afternoon, you think you're about maybe 10 or so miles away from Iron Point. Maybe a little bit less, about 13 miles or so. From over the sand dune comes half a dozen camel riding individuals. The camels are pelting it along, and they kind of come from the back of you. And one of them immediately and Alfred, you spot this, he kind of brings up a rifle, takes a shot at the train.
No.
Okay, I shall return fire.
Okay, well, hold on.
Take out the Springfield.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing. Springfield out.
All right. So we are in a bit of a chase. Your driver has a 6-point pool to drive
Turn left! Turn left!
to drive the train. He's been driving at a fairly steady speed. But as the first shots ring out and the bullets ricochet off the coal wagon and the carriage sides, the train lurches a little bit, and it seems to be starting to pick up speed.
No.
How many points of his 6 pool would you like him to spend as he starts to try and outrun and outpace these bandits?
0.
0. Okay.
0? What, really?
Yeah, I
I was
don't
gonna
charge
say
him. But I don't charge him through a sand dune and get us thrown off.
Yeah, but I don't care because if they catch up, they're going to shoot him and then he won't be going anywhere. And we won't have fired.
Yes, if they get the driver, yes. 2 points, sorry.
2?
2.
Yeah.
2 points. He rolls a 6. It takes his pull down to 4 on a 6. The train lurches and begins to pick up speed. You hear the whistle as he kind of hits that kind of whistle sound. All right. So, Alfred,
yeah.
you wanted to do something.
I'm going to shoot the camel. Of
Camel,
the person
yes.
with
Shoot the
the,
camel so they can't chase.
Yeah.
Just a bigger target.
Yeah,
Okay.
bigger target, and if it falls over, it might trip the others.
Okay. It is at medium range. So give me an attack roll.
That's close.
Spend your points. Medium range.
So that's near range, is it? Because it then goes long. You've got
Yes.
point blank, close,
Near.
near.
Yes. Yeah, it will count as near range.
And if I click on the pluses, it's how many points I'm spending, is it?
Correct. Yeah. And then the dice is exactly how many.
Are you
But you
shooting
roll.
the one at the front on the right or the one at the front on the left?
Whichever one's got the guy with the rifle.
He is the one at the front.
I'm assuming they've all got them. But
They all appear to have rifles, but only one has shot so far.
Yeah. So, him.
Okay.
I'll be shooting the one next to him.
All right. So the target threshold would normally be 3, but it's +1 because you're on a moving train. It's +1 because you're shooting at a moving, galloping camel. Okay, so your target threshold would be 5. You hit. The camel squeals and its front legs buckle, sending the rider into a cloud of sand, kind of catapulting over and over and over as the camel just drops from underneath him.
Strike 1.
Strike 1. Ralph, what do you want to do?
I'm shooting the one next to it.
Okay, same with you.
So it's got a +1 here for near, I think.
Yeah.
Does that automatically add into the roll?
I just clicked it.
Yeah, click it because that tells the system what your range is.
Okay, and then I just add the dice in.
And just add the dice, yeah. The number of points you want to spend from your pool. 4. Your round kicks up dirt and dirt and sand near the camel's feet, but unfortunately it doesn't hit. Joseph.
I'll go for the same one.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm literally just hunkering down, aiming, and hopefully that was a +1. 1 dice. Roll.
Again, your bullet spits up dirt and sand near the rider.
It's almost like the speed of the train. It's just jostled me.
Yeah, you're jostled by the train as it kind of hits a bit of a kink in the track, or maybe a small pool of sand or something. But the train is speeding up. Okay, they're going to shoot back. So the first one is going to do. They have. Right, so the first one is down, and already he's way behind the moving group. So the one that you tried to shoot at will try and fire back, and he's going to try and aim in general for Joseph. Now, Joseph, your target threshold would be 3.
Yes.
You are on a moving train, takes it to 4. He's on the back of a camel galloping, takes it to 5. You are in cover, taking it to 6. So he needs a 6 or more to hit you.
It's going to use 27 dice.
A bullet zings off the side of the carriage. probably 2 feet away from where you're leaning out through the window.
I'm going to look at the noise and then reload fast.
Okay. The next one is going to try for Joseph. For Alfred. This gets closer, probably into the bottom part of the carriage, just below where you are kind of resting to shoot out of. And the bullet kind of dings into the side of the carriage, possibly goes through it, embeds it into the seat next to you.
Okay.
And the
One
last...
even flip.
I should be using this, shouldn't I? The last bandit shoots, but at the last minute, his camel seems to sidestep and he kind of jostles, and the rifle shot, as best you can tell, goes up and over the thing. Okay, next round. The train starts to increase its speed. How many points do you want the driver to invest in this round?
One maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking one or nothing. Because we don't want it's too far, or it's going to be harder for us to shoot them as well.
Okay. The train continues to pick up speed. It kind of lurches beyond certainly beyond, close to double the speed it was going. The camels are starting to fall out of, they're certainly dropping into long range. Alfred, what do you want to do?
Same as last time. Aim for the lead camera.
You are now out at long range.
Okay. That doesn't actually make a difference.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I shall do the same. Try and if I can get one that is going to potentially delay the others, like fall in the way or something to try and put them off, I shall aim for that one.
Go for
it. Nice.
Yeah, that will hit. Hits the camel. The camel kind of veers and sort of veers away from danger. It's gonna take one more with it. As it kind of veers across, another one of the camels kind of starts to follow it, much to the annoyance of the rider. And the rider is starting to try and pull on his reins to rein the camel in and kind of try and re-steer it. Joseph.
So we all got lucky on the damage on the first roll.
Yes. Same thing. I'm not one to take anything away from. I just wrote the closest one basically. So I'm going to shoot at the closest thing I can see.
All right, that would be number 4. He is still coming towards you. Give me a 4. He's still going to miss, unfortunately.
Yes, it's going to be a poof.
But again, puff of sand, and the camel kind of veers a little bit, but then comes back on track. And Ralph. Nice. Are you going for the same one as Joseph was before?
Yeah, I'm basically looking for one that's leading another one again.
Okay.
That'll try and cause the most disruption.
All right. The camel goes down with a screech and kind of hits, and both the camel and the rider kind of roll over and over and over each other, maybe for about 10 or so feet. The other one that's kind of been completely unharmed is kind of coming behind him, and he kind of pulls around and kind of has to really concentrate on keeping his camel in check, which he does, but it still drops him further back. The other one that got kind of distracted and veered off, let's see what's with him, continues to go off following the injured one. So you've now only kind of got one that's physically chasing you. The train continues to pick up speed. Next round, how many pool points do you want the driver to spend?
0.
I'd say 0
Yeah.
on this one.
Yeah.
0
same.
on this one. Okay. The train, you feel the train bounce as it sprays up a whole load of sand, clearly hitting and going through a sand dune. You genuinely feel the momentum of the train lessen as it loses some of that speed that it was building up to kind of force its way through the sand. The one remaining camel rider that's chasing the train catches up and puts you back in that near bracket. Ralph. Sorry, not Ralph. Alfred, what do you want to do?
I was hoping that we were just going to outrun it. I was going to leave it this round, but it's still coming at us and gaining. I shall shoot them again.
On a near as well.
Yeah, well, it's the same as what it was before.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Go for it.
Unless it's point blank, it won't make a difference.
Okay. Your bullet tears into the camel. The camel tries to pull up, does the rider. But the rider kind of kicks in deep, and you watch as he masterfully regains control of the camel. It continues. Joseph.
Oh, seeing what Alfred has just done, I'm going to do hopefully the same. Well, not yeah.
Okay. So your target number is 5.
Oh, do it. Oh, for God's sake.
I've nicked all the good dice.
I know.
Again,
Can
as
you
you
use inspiration?
No, there isn't. As you shoot your rifle, the rider kind of pulls the camel across, and where you expected it to be is no longer where the camel is when the bullet impacts the ground. Ralph.
I'll take it. I'm losing focus now, but I'll take a shot at the camel.
Okay.
Should really shoot the man. I suppose that target would be 6 then, wouldn't it, instead of 5? Would it?
No, it'll still be 5.
Well, I'll shoot the guy then.
Okay. It would have been a nice shot if you'd have hit him.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, you didn't. Yeah, again, round just dings off some stone that the thing's galloping by. All right, so the other one that's got an injured camel, can he pull the camel back? He is going to spend. Yes, he does. You watch as the one that you'd wounded before, the camel kind of suddenly starts to veer back around towards you. But that's kind of about all it can do at the moment. It would count as being at long range for you right now. The other one that was following him, he's going to try and pull that camel back. He does. The camel comes back. But again, that's him basically focusing everything. The last one that you were shooting at, he's going to try and shoot at Joseph. He's going to use... Oh, I need to do it over here, don't I? Ooh.
I can feel it.
No, I used the wrong thing. Sorry. He's at short range. So bear with me a second. So it's going to do. Oh shit! Yeah. Okay. This does hit you. You are, as you're kind of leaning out, taking a shot. You feel a sharp pain in your shoulder, and you look, and you can see a blood stain running down your thing. You take 3 points of damage.
Oh, 1, 2, 3.
I think that's the first damage we've taken, isn't it? Close to?
Yeah, no, I got bitten.
You've been bitten.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's only Joseph that's actually been hurt.
I am the
I've
go-to.
been thwacked over the head.
Oh, you have? Yes.
Yeah,
What
that's true.
next round? What do you want to do? What do you want to do for the driver this turn? He still has 4 points of pool left.
I don't want to go any faster.
Yeah, I'd say put another 2 points on
Really?
because they're catching up again. They're back up to near range now, aren't they?
One is, the other two are coming up. Yeah.
Put the brakes on and we'll just go point blank.
Am I doing 2? Am I doing 1? Am I doing none?
I'd say either 1 or 2, but 2 probably.
Go for it.
Got
I'll
4
go.
left. You might as well.
Okay. The train picks up speed, and you watch as the wounded camel. In fact, you got 2 wounded camels. They both pull up, and the non-wounded camel rider just kind of slots into the middle, and they just sit passively watching as you disappear. And you kind of go a bit around a bend or something, and they disappear from view. They don't seem to chase you. About an hour later, the train slows.
In that
As it
hour,
does.
we'll take a look at the wound.
Yeah, okay.
See if there's anything we can do for it.
Yeah, go for it.
First aid.
Yeah, let me just double check the first aid skill.
Can I assist him?
Oh, I'll assist if needs be. It's your wound.
Yeah.
I go, no, ow.
Not that bit, it hurts. It all hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up, you baby. Pull tight.
Yeah. Bite down.
That's a scratch.
Page 63. Okay.
Yeah. This is where it gets fumbled and you lose the arm.
Okay, you're not healing yourself, right?
No, I'm healing.
So
Joseph.
for every point of first aid that you spend, you can heal 2 points of injury.
Oh. How injured were you?
3.
3?
Don't waste it all.
I won't. I've got 5.
Waste it all.
So, just so you know, physical injuries, you can go below 0. So prior to going to 0, it's just a flesh wound. If you go below between 0 and -5, you are hurt, and there are obviously implications of being hurt. If you go to -11, you're seriously wounded, and if you go below -12, you are dead. First aid can only refill your pool to where you were before the scene in which you received the latest injury. So as an example, if this scene you do this, let's say you didn't heal him, next scene you ended up in a fight, let's say when you get to the end of the line, the bandits have waiting for you, you wouldn't be able to heal these 3 points at the end of the next fight sequence.
Because I was about to say just use 1 point and hit me up to 9.
That's what I was thinking of doing until
Yeah.
that's
Give me all your points.
Just bear that in mind.
Yeah.
If
So-
you're bandaging yourself, it's at a rate of 1 per bandage.
Right.
Right.
That's what I did, wasn't it?
Well, it's under general, so it's a test. Is there something that we need to actually roll, or just point spent?
Not when you're doing healing.
Okay.
It's a very generous system.
Okay.
Just so you know, if you're on 0 to -5, you're hurt. All difficulty numbers of all tests and contests and enemy hit thresholds increase by 1. So in this instance, if you'd have gone down to say -3 and you were still shooting, you would have needed a 6 or more
Yeah.
on your dice.
Mm.
Okay.
When it goes to 6 to 12,
+2.
he can't restore. Okay. A character with the first aid ability can stabilize your condition by spending 2 hit points, but he can't restore your health points. Even if you receive first aid, you must convalesce in a hospital or similar setting for a period of days. Your period of forcing activity is the number of days equal to the positive value of your lowest health pool score. So if you reduce to -8 health and you're hospitalized for 8 days.
Whoa.
Okay, so just bear that in mind. So effectively, your health pool, add 5 onto it, and that's how many hit points you can, or how much damage you can take before you are seriously affected.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to nod at the bandage that Alfred has put over my shoulder appreciatively, and I can feel it's good.
As you roll down the track, you can see a cluster of children all dancing and waving at you as you start to kind of come in towards Cthulhu.
Right. That's what
Iron Point is a little bit further down, but there is a kind of a small, on stand, there'll be a cooling water tower and stuff like that. As you have you instructed your driver to stop here?
Well, we needed a guide here, didn't we?
Okay.
So
All right. The driver then slows the train, and as you slow, you can hear the cheering of the children. And then just on the edge of the shimmering heat, you can see what appears to be half a dozen huts, maybe some tents. A small group of men, mostly carrying spears, start walking up towards you. And that's where we'll leave it tonight.
Oh. Fantastic. Right, just so the viewers know, we will not be back until the 1st September for D&D, but the... Oh God, what date is it?
So technically, I think it would be... So we can choose. We can either reconvene on the 29th, which is the bank holiday Monday,
Yeah, depending on what people are doing.
or we can reconvene on the 5th.
On the 5th. We'll do the 5th.
We'll do the 5th.
okay.
So we will reconvene with the next part of Ethiopia on the 5th of September.
Awesome.
That was like...
I have made a note, so I know exactly where you are now, and I don't necessarily have to rewatch myself. But
Do you know what? This system, though, when you find your bullets, I'm like going, oh my God, have I got this many shots? But I've got only this many dice.
Yeah.
No, once the dice pool's gone, you can still shoot. But
Oh
then
yeah,
you
but
just run-
you're a flat D6.
Yeah. So the question then is, do I unload and go for a kill straight away,
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
do I try and stagger it because this might be a 3 or 4 round combat?
Yeah,
That is the situation, the scenario you need to think about.
and with Kath taking all the good rolls, it was like.
Haven't you noticed that every game I play with Foundry, apart from the last one, I've been rolling well.
You
The
have.
last one I was rolling low.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe it's making up for the fact that I've not used it much and it's letting me catch up.
I think I hit 1 out of 3 there.
You hit
I didn't
one.
miss.
Yeah.
For me, as a Safari person, I hit a big fat 0.
Thing was,
Yeah,
I wasn't rolling more
You
dice.
weren't there.
than
You
lot.
weren't there for the hunting.
No, true that.
Yeah, I rolled 2 dice on each shot, so I wasn't rolling more dice to make up for it or anything. It was just luckier dice.
Yeah, no, really, really well done.
You can, I mean, there is no limit to your pool, so you can just keep building your pool up as you want. I think once your pool gets to about 12, though, then it's just a bit of a kind of a waste.
Yeah. I've got
Because
2 skills at 10. The rest there.
By the way, add yourself 2 more experience for tonight.
Oh, wonderful. These pools are the ones that refresh overnight as well, aren't they? The shooting ones.
Some do, some don't.
Some do, some don't, yeah.
But we're at 18 total hour.
We're at 18 total, yes.
So that means I'm adding 6 now. So that means I've got 8 out of 18 left.
Yeah, I've got 4.
I've got 4.
One of the previous spends for the experience was first aid.
Yeah.
I could take it up to 5. I had it at 4 originally.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to suggest you can do it when you're in positive numbers still, but I don't see why not. So
Yeah, it's the only ones I haven't been without checking with you are the ones that are at 0 because I don't know the skill, like mechanics. Yeah, I could put points into it, but I haven't done anything mechanical to
Yeah,
learn the skill.
do you have to spend more points to learn a new skill, or?
Well, just justification as to how you've got the skill.
I was going to say you'd have to. Yeah. I now know how to lockpick. How?
Yeah. Well, I could show you, for example.
Yeah, but that would take time, though, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be like a quick 2-minute. Oh, this is what jiggle.
Oh, fundamentals. That's your 1 point spend.
it is your 1 point spend, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like the academic skills. I'm not going to be picking those up anytime soon.
You're not really an academic, are you?
No. Yeah. I've got a little bit. It's like I've got law, accounting, which I started with, and theology. And I put 1 into cryptography from watching Ralph, and 2 into library use. And that's it.
What's interesting with this at the moment is there's very little Cthulhu in it.
Yeah.
There's hints, right? You've had a few hints, but
yeah,
there's not a lot going on right now.
There's been a taste.
There's enough hints that I've got 2 Cthulhu mythos from nowhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Randomly from books I've picked up.
Yeah, and I got bit by a cat.
And you got bit by a cat, yeah.
But that was just a cat, though. It's nothing to do with Cthulhu. Just cats being cats.
I beat up a PI.
And you beat up a
PI.
Yeah.
He didn't have a swing at me, but
he had a really weird chin.
Yeah.
I was chuckling to myself because one of the options for Sinewy, if you don't approach him right, is you can beat the living crap out of him.
Oh, I bet he's right wuss as well, isn't he?
Basically, and I had to chuckle because I think this is the first game that I've run with Sorental where he hasn't yet interrogated somebody.
I'm not playing. I'm not. Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, one of the few games.
It's like the anti-Sorentar.
The very first time when I met Sorental, I was running a game online, and very quickly he showed me his role-playing caliber by using a shot glove, a bowl of water, and a man tied to a chair.
I was. It was D&D 3.5.
Yeah.
and I was playing an artificer. And in 3.5, they could make magical effects and imbue magic onto weapons. So I put shock. It was a shock dagger. I put shock onto the dagger and used that into the water.
Oh,
It was on his testicles, wasn't it?
On his testicles.
Yeah.
but no harm, no foul.
Well, no, there was harm. There was foul after. There was harm, and there was foul after that because once we'd got the information out of him, he said, my master will come for me. He'll find it. He'll find out." And we're like, "Oh, we have to kill this guy now." So we did, which we offered him, and then we went, right, we've got to get rid of the body. Where are we taking him? Right, okay, we're in Shan. We'll take him down into the depths of the sewers, into the darkest places, and get rid of him there. But what if they find him? Right, we'll chop him up into little pieces.
So-
He'll be eaten. There'll be nothing left of him, so we won't be able to use any magic on him at all.
So to
That's a
local
plan.
butcher.
That's a plan.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's dark.
That set the scene.
It did, but I wasn't evil because I was doing it for a reason.
I was going to say this.
And I wasn't chaotic because I was also doing it in service of my house.
This neutral good party did well. Oh my god! And you can justify anything in a certain way, and you are the good guy.
Absolutely, absolutely. The guy that we did it to was thoroughly evil.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, thoroughly evil. Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. Minis.
And if you're going to do something evil as a good guy, you do it in Eberron.
Yeah, in style as well.
Everything's a shade of grey.
Right, gentlemen, it has been a pleasure, and I will see you at the other end of August.
We will indeed. Thank you very much.
I'll see you on Thursday.
It's Thursday, yeah.
I'll see you Thursday. Oh, actually, Catherall.
Yeah.
I may have a not medium term, but certainly a reason for you to join the party for a while. I'll talk to you offline about it, about what I'm thinking, and see if you're up for it.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't say more than that because these two buggers will then understand what's going on.
I'll give you 20 quid. You can tell me later.
And we'll see. We'll see if everybody's around this week.
Yeah, hopefully for the last one, everybody will be
Nobody's
around.
said anything yet. So.
No, we'll double check.
Guy
Right,
seems
gents.
to find out last minute.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether Guy will drop.
Yeah,
I don't
I've
think
been
so.
wondering the same because I've played him quite a lot lately. So
I don't think he wants to, but I
No.
have a feeling he might drop.
at least for a while until he gets the job under him, because that'll be what it is. It's,
Well, that's it's teething, isn't it? It's new job.
Yeah,
he's got to do the whole thing. He's got to set the whole thing up, hasn't he? You know, he's coming in. There's nothing there, and he's doing all the work. So
And don't forget school holidays as well. So two families. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what the situation is when we come back after the break. But yeah, we've got Friday, we've got Thursday. That'll be cool. I've given up trying to get you to the city. You're not going to get to the city on Thursday. There's just not time to do it.
And you step on this teleportation
We've got at
stone.
least 6,000 experience to get before we get to any part of the city. Instead,
Yeah,
we'll be going down every little crevice to find, things to kill.
Is that a beetle? Kill it!
We'll be backtracking to that bloody corridor that we weren't going to go down.
The X-Men corridor. Yes.
Yeah, don't do that. That's not pleasant. I've got a couple more encounters to throw at you, and then then we get to the city.
I think it'd be nice to leave the city until September, and then go city, and go, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, funnily enough, do you look at the Bell of Lost Souls site?
No, not often.
Oh, today, let's go to it. Here we go. They've got one of the things on it is about 5 ways to flay a mind, and it is 5 types of mind flayer, from the tadpole to different things. It's like, yeah, that's appropriate.
Oh my god.
One of the ones, the big ones, we just encountered in my Friday game as well. But he was stuffed.
Hmm.
In an area with Githyanki, there's a few heads up on walls and stuffed mind flayers about.
Nice.
It's just pictures.
All right, guys, I'm done. I am
Yep.
knackered.
Fantastic. And thank you, Zed. And thank you all, guys. Take care.
Cheers, guys.
See you soon.
Catch you later.
See you soon.
Later. Night all.